Hello and welcome to the next edition of Invoice Adjustment Training. We are going to get started on this invoice here. And as usual, we're going to go ahead and open up this invoice in another tab. And once it opens, we'll drag this to our second monitor so we can get started. Okay, let's drag this to our other monitor. Okay, so let's click on Add an Adjustment Invoice to get started and confirm. And just so you know, when you create an invoice adjustment, you're always going to have the original invoice number, and then you're going to have -1 designating that this is the first invoice adjustment. And as you'll see on the second adjustment we make, it'll say -2. So you can keep that in mind. Okay, so as normal, let's start with update invoice details. We're going to put this to COD, and everything else looks good. Type in invoice adjustment for the summary on this one, and then whoever requested this to be done, you would put there. So we're just going to copy this part and click save. Okay, now we can start adding tasks. The first one is FM-ASL-1. I'm going to put that in the right spot. And we're going to put invoice adjustment. And this was 8 hours of labor. Make sure to put a minus sign in front of the unit price and also for the sold hours. Click save and on to the next one. Add a task, FM-ASL-3, which is the trip charge. Paste our invoice adjustment text and a minus sign in front of the unit price. There's no sold hours, so let's click save. And I see here the last thing is some material. So let's click add a material, and it's under miscellaneous material. It's our invoice adjustment text. The cost is carried by the purchase order, so you can put that to 0. And this should be 309.19. Always make sure to put the negative in front of that. Click save. Let's check our total. It's $1,141.19. And I see that that is not correct. So I see what I did here. The material price was actually supposed to be $350, and the quantity is 2. That's how you catch mistakes, is by checking the invoice total. Always make sure it adds up to the correct amount. So I can see the total is now $1,532, and that's what it's supposed to be. Perfect. So we're going to go on to our second adjustment now. Let's click back. Okay, now let's start our second adjustment invoice. You can always see which ones you've already created down here at the bottom under adjustment invoices, and this is on the original invoice screen. So let's create our second one to build Gentry Park. Start at update invoice details. We're going to put this to net 30. We want to give the customer time to pay for this once we bill them, if that's their payment terms, which it is, net 30 up here. So the most important part of this whole process is changing the bill to the correct person we need to bill, Gentry Park. And we're going to copy and paste the invoice summary, the entire thing. The technicians here didn't get very descriptive. You usually don't need to edit this, but we did it. We just want to put it in past tense. And save. So let's start by adding our first task, FM-ASL-1. And if you notice, we're not changing the description on this one. This is customer facing, so we want to have this with the normal description. So that's 8 hours at 99. Let's click save. And now let's add our trip charge, FM-ASL-3. Everything looks good. Let's go to save. And our last task is a material task, so make sure to click add a material. And they have this under miscellaneous material task. And then make sure to copy and paste the material description if there is one. Quantity is 2 at $350. The cost was carried on the original invoice with the purchase order at $319 or $309.19. So we can leave the cost here at 0. And let's click save. Let's check our totals. Totals 1532. And that is correct. At the end, I always like to go back to the original invoice screen, scroll to the bottom, and then look at both adjustments. The first one, we removed the balance from Meridian Senior Living, and then our second adjustment, we billed that 1532 to Gentry Park. So that is what we're looking for, and this one is done. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. See you on the next one.